How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. So on the lathe today we have a big old chunk of ash. It's roughly 11 inches square. I cut the corners off, so it might be a little bit bigger than that, but it should be enough in there to make a decent 10-inch, 10.5-inch bowl. So that's what we're going to try and do. So rather than wasting time making it round, I decided to go straight into the contouring, because why not? We're spinning at 800 RPM at the moment, gets a little bit out of balance, and we're using the 40/40 grind bowl gouge. Okay, so it's in balance enough now to turn it up to 1400, and it's cutting a lot nicer now. Still cutting a fair bit of air up the top there, but we're not far away from round. Now this ash holds onto its moisture quite a lot, so I was hoping it was going to be reasonably dry, and it's on the dry side, but I know it's going to move. We're going to end up with an oval shaped bowl in about 3 months time, but that'll be just fine. I'll put some little feet on it and it'll be an art piece. That is the idea with this bowl. We're going to make a piece of art today rather than trying to make anything overly functional. So I haven't really got a shape in mind, I'm just freestyling it at the moment. And we're still chasing a few flat spots at the top of the bowl. Yeah, there's those flat spots where you can hear it getting a bit grabby, a little bit unhappy up the top there. Just hold on tight when you're going through that stuff. So I didn't want any bark on the bottom, and we've got to make enough space for our 100mm jaws today. Absolutely munching through it. That's probably 6 or 7mm pass. There we go, we're just chasing the last flat spot. Let's have a look, have we got it? Not quite, look. Now sometimes I make these bowls curve in again at the top, sort of a recurve, and I didn't want to do it with this one, so that meant taking the whole profile of the bowl down to get rid of that flat spot. You'll see why I've done that. I've got designs on that top edge, so I wanted it reasonably flat rather than curving back in on itself. I reckon that's it, that's got that flat spot. Okay, in goes the 100mm mortise, or 90mm mortise, for the 100mm jaws. Now we're going to be doing some Lichtenberg, so this is your safety warning and your epilepsy warning. If you've got epilepsy and you're photosensitive, you might want to skip the next 2 minutes of this, maybe 2 minutes, minute and a half. Look away for a bit if you've got epilepsy. So we've sanded that now up to 800 grit, ready for the Lichtenberg machine. And here we go, no messing around. We're using 4,000 volts today rather than 6,000, and I haven't burned ash in a while, and I was pleasantly surprised with how it burned. I think the last time I tried it I was using 6,000 volts and it made a bit of a mess. So it just goes to show more power is not always desirable, although, you know, most of the time more power is desirable, but not with ash, it would seem. Some nice big 30cm arcs going on. Okay, so back to that top rim I was talking about, and out comes the charcoal wood stain. And I've done a very thick mix, barely any water in it. So it's like a wood dye. Okay, so I just cleaned that off with a paper towel. And now I'm going to sand with an 800 grit pad from the bottom of the bowl all the way through the black, and then that's me done with that sanding. I didn't want to pull any of that stain back down into the clear area. So I've got some vegetable oil on a toothbrush, and we've got to clear out all of those burns. And I oiled the whole bowl just for good measure. And then on we went with our shine juice. Okay, I wasn't happy with the definition between the two sections of bowl, so I decided to put a little marker line, would you call that? I don't know what you call that. So both sides of the skew, then made a little triangular dent in it. And then I thought, yeah, that looks alright, but I wonder if we could get a black line in the middle of that. So I shine juiced it up. And then I've seen some people using like a strand of copper wire for a bit of burning. So, yes, I've learned you don't use your hands. So I built myself a little jig to hold the wire. And we burned a little beauty line into the centre of that divot.
Did we get a black line that time? Whew! Yeah, we did! Awesome!
Okay, so Chris Walters has been back in touch. He's made a new pen, and he sent us an image in to show us his new pen. So thanks very much for doing that, Chris. And if you want your images to be featured on the show, you can send them to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Okay, so it's time to hollow it out. Nothing too crazy on the hollowing. Now I did find for the first sort of minute of this hollowing, maybe 2-3 minutes, my tool rest was not quite secure enough, and it was making everything a nightmare. It was sort of bouncing up and down, which was not giving me a smooth cut. And I kept thinking maybe it's my gouge, maybe it's the height of my tool rest. No, it was just the old vice grips were not doing their job properly. You see, I'm working on the end of the tool rest in that shot, when I should have been working in the centre. I really do need to fix that thing. Another job for the endless list of jobs that are never going to get jobbed. Right, so you can see I've moved the tool rest now, and you can hear that everything is much happier. Still pretty tough stuff, the old ash, even though it's not fully dry. I do have some stuff that's very, very dry, and it's like trying to cut concrete. It's incredibly hard. So the way I was hollowing this is to create a little hollow in the centre, and then bring the outsides down to meet that hollow until it flattens out, and then repeat the process. You see, with the 40/40 grind, I can't get the angle to transition from the side of the bowl to the bottom of the bowl very easily. So I end up sort of pushing the gouge to avoid hitting the edge of the bowl. It's not ideal. So somebody accused me of making frilly stuff yesterday. So I said to them I was going to make the manliest bowl possible today, just for a giggle. And so I'm not going to be doing any dainty today. This is full on chunky monkey, lots of electricity and black wood stain manly bowl. I say I do enjoy reading your comments. Makes the job worthwhile. Cheers for that. You see that black mark in the bottom of the bowl there? That's some kind of bark inclusion. Just appeared out of nowhere, and that was really tough stuff. I kept wondering what was going on. But I had to turn through it eventually. So we're doing a bit of reverse hollowing. It's much easier to transition along the bottom of the bowl with this 40/40 grind doing it that way. Just a couple more passes now, and we're at final depth. Seemed to be when I get to that corner there, it was throwing me out every time, just about where that knot was. Just left it a little bit uneven on the bottom of the bowl, but we fixed it with sandpaper. So as ever, sanded up to 600 grit, there or thereabouts, on the inside. And then it was time for round 2 of the Lichtenberg machine. So again, epilepsy warning. I should say as well, don't make one of these machines yourself. I am a professional idiot. So if I hurt myself, that's my fault. But I wouldn't like to think that anybody's building these based off anything that I do, because they are ridiculous and they will kill you. So please don't do that. It's like a river of lava running down the middle of the bowl there, isn't it? Casual 4,000 volt arc. That's called pushing it a bit too much and just trying to get a bit of extra burn when it's not going to burn. It's already made a contact across the whole bowl when it's doing that, so. There we go, that's that done. So now we need to repeat the process we did on the outside on the inside. We're going to transfer our black rim and then pull from the inside out so we don't smudge all that wood stain everywhere. Quick cup of tea to let that dry. And all I did here was a 600 grit and then an 800 grit from the inside out. And on again with the vegetable oil and the toothbrush. Clean out all of those burns. And also puts a load of charcoal into the grain of the ash, which I think looks really cool. So no sanding paste at all on this project, because all it does is fill up the burns, and it's an absolute nightmare trying to get it out. So we just sanded it up, and then plenty of shine juice. Now, I did use quite a lot of applications of shine juice. You don't see it in the video, but I probably put, I don't know, maybe 5 layers onto that black charcoaly area, just to get it to pop a little bit better than it was. I was having a conversation with somebody about shine juice and the fact that it goes dull. Yep, it's going to go dull on you eventually, and I like to put Howard Feed and wax on sort of after a few days. But there we go, that's all finished up, look. Isn't that pretty? I'm calling it Roots. I'll let you decide whether you think that's a good title or not. So I'll leave you as ever with the glamour shots. Thanks very much for watching the video. I hope the adverts aren't too annoying, but maybe they'll pay the bills one day, who knows. So thanks very much for following along, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow with another video. Cheers, folks.